All right, let's dive right into the incredible story of India's biodiversity. We're talking about a huge, complex web of life that connects, well, everything from the tiniest insect to the biggest elephant. We're going to uncover this really deep, ancient relationship between people and nature and the fight to keep it alive.
Just listen to this. Let me gather your music from the springs, the rivers, the mountains. This line from a Lepcha folk song just says it all, doesn't it? It paints a picture where nature isn't just a thing to be used, but a source of life, of art, of inspiration. And it's this deep connection, this idea that the natural world is sacred, that's at the very heart of the story we're exploring today.
So when we throw around this word biodiversity, what are we actually talking about? It's so much more than just a list of animals and plants. A better way to think about it is like a living, breathing system. A giant, intricate web where every single thread, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, is connected to everything else. And here's the kicker. We humans, we're not looking at this web from the outside. We are woven right into the fabric of it.
And our dependence on this system is total. This isn't some abstract scientific concept. We're talking about our basic survival. The very air you're breathing right now, the water you drink, the soil that grows our food, all of it, every last bit, is thanks to this complex ecological network. Without it, we're done for. But, as we're about to see, this life support system, it's come under some serious stress.
Section 1. A system under stress. So that delicate balance we were just talking about, it started to crack, putting the whole ecosystem in real danger.
And if you were looking for one single, powerful symbol of this crisis, you wouldn't have to look any further than the tiger. This absolute icon of the wild, a crucial part of the ecosystem, was just vanishing at a terrifying speed.
By 1973, this was the number that shocked everyone. 1,827. That's it. That's how many tigers were left in the wild in all of India. It was a number so low, it served as a massive wake-up call for the entire country.
Just try to wrap your head around the scale of this. At the turn of the century, the estimate was around 55,000 tigers. Fast forward to 1973, and we're down to less than 2,000. That's a catastrophic loss in just a handful of decades. So the big question is, how did it get so bad so fast?
Well, it was really a perfect storm of threats. You had rampant poaching for their skins and bones, which were highly valued in some traditional medicines. At the exact same time, their forest homes were shrinking, the animals they preyed on were disappearing, and a growing human population was just putting more and more pressure on their habitats. The whole system was collapsing. Section 2. The government's blueprint. All right, so faced with this undeniable crisis, the government had to step in. And they did, with a big, formal, top-down strategy to try and pull these species back from the brink of extinction. You can almost see the thinking evolve over the years here. It really kicks off in 1972 with the big one, the Wildlife Protection Act. A year later, Project Tiger launches, which, became one of the most famous conservation efforts in the world. But what's really cool is how the idea of what needed protecting grew. By the 80s, they were adding insects, like butterflies and moths. And then in 1991, for the very first time, plants finally made it onto the protected list. And that 1972 act, it was a total game changer. It laid down a legal framework for all of this. It banned hunting of endangered animals, gave legal protection to their homes, and cracked down on the wildlife trade. It also created national parks and sanctuaries. And for the first time, there was an official, nationwide list of species that, by law, had to be saved.
To get a better handle on the forests themselves, the government also split them into these different classifications. You have reserved forests. Those are considered the most valuable, so they get the highest level of protection. Then you've got protected forests, which are shielded from being depleted any further. And then there's this third category, unclassed forests, which are often managed by local communities, and you're going to want to remember that last one, because it's about to become super important.
Section 3. The community stand. Because here's the thing. The government's plan is only half the story. While all that was happening from the top down, an incredibly powerful movement was rising up from the ground up, from the very people who lived in and around these forests. And the Chipko movement is probably the most famous example of this. You had local communities, especially women, who would literally hug trees to stop loggers from cutting them down. Can you imagine that? It was this amazing, non-violent act of resistance, and it proved that conservation led by the community could be massively successful. Or get this story from Alwar in Rajasthan.
The people in 5 different villages basically said, "We've got this." They took matters into their own hands and declared their own sanctuary. They set their own rules, no hunting allowed, no outsiders messing with the forest, and they specifically said they didn't want the government involved. That shows such a deep sense of ownership and responsibility for their environment.
And this kind of community protection, it's not new. It's ancient. Across India, you'll find these incredible places called sacred groves. They're basically patches of untouched virgin forest that people believe are the homes of gods and goddesses. So they're completely off limits. They've been preserved for centuries, not by laws, but by pure faith and tradition.
And this reverence for nature is often tied to specific species. For the Mundas and Santal people, the mahua and kadamba trees are sacred. In Odisha and Bihar, tamarind and mango trees play a central role in wedding ceremonies. You see, this isn't just about conservation in the scientific sense. It's a living culture where nature is truly part of the family. And this community spirit goes beyond just the wild forests. You have movements like the Bij Bauchau Andalan, which translates to Save the Seeds. Farmers are working to bring back traditional crop varieties, showing everyone that you can farm in a way that's good for the environment and makes economic sense. It's all about protecting biodiversity, whether it's in a national park or on a farm.
Section 4. A shared responsibility. Okay, so we've seen these 2 powerful forces at play, the top-down government strategy and the bottom-up community movements. So it seems pretty clear that the future of conservation has to be about bringing those 2 forces together.
And that's exactly where models like Joint Force Management, or JFM, come in. It's a program that basically creates a formal partnership. Local groups are formed to take care of and restore damaged forests. And in return for being the guardians of that land, they get to share in the benefits, like collecting non-timber products from the forest. It's a win-win.
So, if there's one really clear lesson to take away from this whole story, it's this. For any conservation effort to actually work in the long run, local communities can't just be an afterthought. They have to be right there at the heart of it, involved in managing and making decisions about their natural resources. I want to leave you with this really profound thought from Gautama Buddha. The tree affords protection to all beings, offering shade even to the axemen who destroy it. It just speaks volumes about the unconditional generosity of nature. And it kind of leaves us with a pretty big question, right? If nature offers protection even to those who seek to harm it, what's our responsibility to protect it in return?